So you've got a home in South Jersey, one that was built back in the 80s or 90s. Well, if you do, it's hitting a really specific and very important milestone. After decades of sun, rain, and snow, those original materials are definitely starting to show their age. So let's do a little walk around and see what that actually looks like.
There was a massive building boom back then all across South Jersey. And these are solid homes, for sure. But the materials they used, the standard asphalt shingles, the vinyl siding, the builder-grade windows, well, they all had an expected lifespan. And guess what? We're reaching the end of that lifespan right about now.
And that's really the key number here. At 30 to 45 years old, a house's exterior doesn't just fail overnight. It's not that dramatic. Instead, it's the story of slow, gradual wear and tear. The things that were once brand new are now kind of running on borrowed time, and the signs are often really, really subtle.
That's the big question, isn't it? And that's exactly what we're going to get into. We're going to do a virtual walk around of a typical home from this period, and I'm going to point out the common and often hidden signs of aging that the pros are trained to look for. It's all about knowing where to look.
Okay, let's start our tour at the very top. It just makes sense, right? Your roof is the home's first and most important line of defense against literally everything. And after a few decades, it's usually the first place to start waving a little white flag.
So here's a pro tip for you. The very first sign of an aging roof usually isn't even on the roof. It's down in your gutters. You see all that sand-like, gritty stuff collecting in there? Those are the granules from your shingles. Once they start coming off, the shingle loses its protection from the sun, and it starts to age much, much faster. Okay, what about flashing? That metal stuff that seals the areas around your chimney, your vents, skylights? Well, the sealant they used back in the day to install it starts to dry out, get brittle, and crack. This creates tiny little gaps that are basically a welcome mat for water, often leading to those slow, hidden leaks that you don't find until the damage is already done.
And that quote really says it all, doesn't it? This is one of the top things inspectors find time and time again. Why? Because the materials they used back then just weren't designed to last 40+ years. It's a small part of your roof, but wow, it can cause some big, big problems.
All right, let's move down from the roof and talk about the siding. I always think of siding as the skin of your house. It's what protects the entire structure, the bones of your home, from moisture and pests. So, what happens when that skin starts to get compromised?
Now this is probably the biggest and most frustrating siding issue because you can't see it. The original moisture barriers they used back then have often degraded. That means any water that gets behind your vinyl siding can get trapped against the wood sheathing of your house, and that can lead to rot you won't even know is there.
Of course, there are some signs you can see. You might notice siding that's warped or buckled after decades of summer heat. Or maybe you've spotted cracks where the old vinyl has just gotten brittle. But here's the crucial thing to remember. These visible problems are often just clues that there could be hidden water damage going on underneath, especially around your windows and doors.
Okay, on to the openings, your windows and doors. These spots are absolutely critical. They're key for energy efficiency, of course, but they're also major weak spots for water to get in if their seals start to go. Have you ever seen that foggy, clouded look between the panes of a double-pane window? That's not just a window that needs cleaning. That's a failed seal. It means the insulating gas between the panes has escaped and moisture's gotten in. Once that happens, the window has totally lost its insulating value, and unfortunately, it's not something you can repair. Now this one's pretty simple, but boy does it have a big impact on your comfort and your energy bills. We're talking about the original weather stripping on doors and windows. After 30 or 40 years, it's almost always completely worn out, which is why you feel those chilly drafts in the winter. And finally, let's talk about the unsung hero of your home's exterior, the gutter system. Its entire job is to do one thing: collect all the water from your huge roof and get it safely away from your foundation. But what happens when it stops doing its job? On older homes, you'll see gutters pulling away from the house, or you'll see sections that are sagging, which causes standing water. Either way, the result is the same: overflow. And during a heavy rain, that overflow dumps a massive amount of water right next to your home's foundation, exactly where you do not want it. So we've looked at all the individual parts: the roof, the siding, the windows, the gutters, but now we need to talk about the most important concept of all. None of these systems work in a vacuum. A failure in one area almost always causes a problem somewhere else. And this slide shows that domino effect perfectly. It can start with something that seems minor, like a clogged gutter. No big deal, right? But then it overflows, soaking the siding and the wood trim around a window, day after day.
Pretty soon, that constant moisture leads to hidden rot inside the wall. See? One small issue just created a much bigger one.
I know, after hearing all this, it's totally natural to feel a little bit of anxiety. You start wondering, oh my gosh, is my whole house about to fall apart? But let me just say, the answer to this question is almost always a definite no.
And that's really the bottom line here. Age is just a number. It's a heads up that tells you it's time to start paying closer attention. It's the actual condition of each part of your home that really matters. A good evaluation might find that your roof is fine for another 5 years, but those gutters need attention right now. It's about being smart, not just replacing everything blindly.
So what do you do with all this information? It's simple. You get clarity. A professional exterior inspection isn't a sales pitch. It's an information-gathering mission. It's designed to give you a clear, honest picture of your home's health so that you can make informed, no-pressure decisions on your own timeline. And just knowing where you stand, that's really the best protection for your home you can get.